I am Suyash Chauhan from Media and Public Relations Committee of IIM Raipur. We are honored to have with us Shri Tarun Girdhar, Senior Manager Talent Development Zscaler. So, sir, we are happy to welcome you to IIM Raipur's 8th HR Summit. So, we have some questions aligned for you. Shall we begin with that?
Yes, please.
So, my first question is, what motivated you to the transition from a technical role at Infosys to a career in human resource, and how that background influenced your HR approach?
Sure. So first of all, it was a combination of what I was seeing my peers do. I'll be very honest. Many of my batchmates from the graduation college had done MBA, and I saw their career prospering, and that was first reason. Second reason was while I was working with Infosys, I think the 4 years of working there also made me realize that this is something which is not my natural calling. I could continue doing this. I was doing well. I was in fact in Dubai, working at the client side, which is something which people aspire to do when they are in a services organization. But still, something was missing. I knew that I can't, or I would not like to continue in the technical domain, and would like to upskill myself. I rather want to move into a management domain, and that is when, as you know, in India, you give some competitive examinations, and I sat through a couple of them like CAT, SAT, SNAP, and got through 2, 3 very decent colleges. So that is how I got into MBA. Now, how I chose HR was again partly by choice and partly by chance. So the MBA college which I had joined, SIBM Pune, at that point in time, I'm sure things have changed now. You had to select specialization within first 40 days of joining the MBA.
Right.
And it's a tough call after having worked in IT for 4 years, choosing, okay, what do you want to do for the rest of your life, or at least a significant duration. And I reached out to a couple of my friends, my family members, and even some of the managers I had worked with. I said, if management is what you're pursuing, we somehow feel, and this majority of them, that they said that you would be well suited for an HR profession. I said, why do you feel so? They said, we have always felt that you are very poised, calm, and you have a knack of empathy, emotional quotient. Like whenever people are in stress, people have somebody to go to. You are a natural choice. You are a very good listener. So with limited information at that point in time, definitely HR is more to just listening, empathy, and lending your pairs of ears. I chose HR, and I do not regret it even for a minute, because it's been a wonderful, rewarding career, and I've learned so much. And the HR as a function has evolved over the last 10 years. So I'm completing 10 years in HR now, and I think it's a very, very important function. It has a strategic seat on the table. And ever since COVID-19, I think people have also realized the importance of HR as a function.
So this is a kind of story most of us would be means most of us would be able to relate to, because like most of the people here are 60% of us are from tech related background. So we think this will be insightful for all of us. Moving on to our next question, how does your passion for cooking relate to your professional life? Like, do you find any parallel between the two?
Uh, I don't know if there's a parallel, but certainly I think both need to go hand in hand. Your passions, when I say your personal passions and professional passions go hand in hand. And in fact, I was in a talk 2 weeks back when I was telling students that, always have an identity or passion outside of your work, because that will break the monotony of your day-to-day life, and it's very important to have those personal passions. So cooking is mine. I won't say that I cook every single day, but at least once in a week, once in 10 days, I wear the apron and try to cook something nice for the family. And it's also a break in the sense that we have a cooking maid at home, and it gives it breaks the monotony, I would say. And I just love it. I think cooking is also one of the passions wherein you're actively using all your senses.
Right.
Like you're smelling, you're listening, you're touching things, right? So I think a very, very mindful, meditative activity, which I just love.
This is good to hear, because most of us, when we go for like when we are working in the corporates, we leave our passion behind.
Yes.
So this is good to hear that you still follow it
Right.
once a week.
Absolutely, there should be something that keeps you going outside of the work as well. In fact, while I was coming here, I was reading about how we are all identity nomads. It's not only the work which makes us who we are. We are more than the work. We are more than the organization we serve.
Right.
And though cooking is one of my passions, I've over the last couple of years also got involved in long distance running. So I've done around 15 half marathons. In fact, the
Nice.
last one I did only last weekend. And in fact, I'm running Vedanta Delhi half marathon, which is happening on 20th of October. Right. So, long story short, I'm not promoting any hobby as such, but I'm definitely encourage students to have some passions which make them a complete human.
I guess they will learn this, they will follow their passions after the college as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Moving on to our next question, means how do you navigate the challenges of working in like a matrix environment with cross-functional teams and stakeholders?
I think that is the norm. Now teams do not operate in silos. You have to work sometimes cross-functionally, cross-team, cross-border also at times. And if you are planning or aspiring to work in a global organization, there is no escape. So you have to have very strong stakeholder management, communication skills, empathizing skills also, because sometimes we're not on the same page and you need to understand where the other person is coming from, especially if it's not from the same team or sometimes even from the same team. I think that's again, as hybrid is a norm, matrix environment and cross-functional teaming collaboration is the norm, and that is what this organization institute should also be equipping you with. And they do it in a way, when you do projects and assignments in college, you are intentionally paired with people who are maybe not like-minded, who are different in a way, and that is what you would need to do in corporate setup as well.
Right, this is correct because we are right now we face some issues when we are working with someone we don't like, but this is the part of the curriculum we need to learn.
Absolutely, and that could happen in corporate setup as well. You don't choose your teams.
Right. So our next question is, what is your approach to leadership coaching? Like, how do you measure its effectiveness?
Right. So there are a couple of ways I've seen it happen in the organizations I've worked in. So for example, there are measures if you are enabling or coaching managers to do something. You would see that translation in some metrics, like maybe the employee relation cases will come down. Say if I'm coaching managers on how to do low performance management, or if you're equipping them with the performance management approach. So you would see, okay, are we having lesser or more number of cases with respect to performance management nuances if we are doing that coaching, we're doing that enablement. So that could be one of the metrics specific to the scenario of performance management. Other things, for example, say if you're equipping managers with just basic nuances on how to manage team, how to set expectations, how to give feedback, how to recognize, how to keep your teams engaged and motivated. Usually, companies have listening mechanisms like engagement pulse or manager effectiveness surveys. It's the scores of which will tell us if the interventions, if the leadership coaching is actually reaping any benefits. Right? So these are some of the quantifiable means and mechanisms by which we would measure the efficacy of our programs.
This is kind of a new learning for us. So for now we come to our last question. That is, what advice would you offer to the MBA students who are like preparing for a successful career in HR leadership?
I think stay agile and nimble. There are a lot of disruptions happening. In fact, the panel discussion today, which was the first one, was around innovations in HR. So that is not going to stop, but that should not scare you as well away from this important function. So people start thinking what would happen. And this is not a conversation which is happening today. I'm sure in different points in time in the history, these conversations have happened. I've time and again heard, HR will get outsourced. Some processes, some things within the larger ambit of HR will get outsourced. They'll get outsourced so that the internal HR teams can focus on more strategic elements of work, more impactful elements of work. So don't be scared. Right now, just learn, just go with the flow. And once you're in the organization, also you should stay agile and nimble, because the organization or the career might throw anything at you, and you need to show agility, you need to show adaptive resilience to adapt to those changes.
I think this is the key, the main success factor that leaders are following.
Yes, in fact, today's panel discussion alluded to this. In fact, the guest speaker also mentioned that change is the name of the game, and you need to consistently keep on evolving. You need to keep on upskilling yourself. You need to keep on learning and growing. So, in fact, IIM Raipur is not the last learning you will have. You will
Right.
keep on learning either by experience, by education, or by exposure. And the person who will continue to learn and grow would thrive and survive.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us at
Thank
IIM
you.
Raipur today. Your insights and experience has been valuable for us, and we are very honorable to have this opportunity to learn from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So
Thank
we
you.
are looking forward to seeing you again in IIM Raipur. Thank you.
Thank you so much.